A worldwide criminal organization is sending money and drugs from the U.S. to the Middle East with new business happening now right here in Oklahoma. We're talking about the illegal marijuana industry.
Fox 25's investigative reporter Erica Stanish has got your back with how authorities are cracking down on illegal farms and the lasting legacy these busts are leaving behind. Erica.
Right. Well, over the last 8 months, more illegal farms have set up shop right here in Oklahoma, and more than 3 dozen have been shut down since April. And now the OBN says it's working to increase its own task force and hopes to send a message to those trying to fly under the radar.
Chris Bastine is a longtime rodeo judge, rider, and all-around cowboy.
Come on, pretty girl.
His ranch in Guthrie is his own particular kind of heaven, with acres of land and plenty of wide-open spaces. But the flat land in his horizon changed when greenhouses started popping up next door.
It was interesting because they did come in with a bulldozer and literally just flattened the pasture and built berms up all the way around.
In April, the OBN raided the farm, where dump trucks of illegal marijuana could be seen being hauled away after a months-long investigation. 15,000 plants were seized in total and 10 people detained.
You never want to see something like that going on with your next door neighbor.
He says the greenhouses went up fast and deliveries were nonstop.
We noticed that at one point the power company came out and put another power pole in.
Woodward says some farms are big enough to power a small town.
We've got neighbors who are calling us saying that their power's flickering out in rural Oklahoma and never used to do that before.
According to the Oklahoma Association of Electric Cooperatives, Cimarron Electric, which covers Logan County, added 35,000 kVA worth of power to their system from April 2020 to June 2021. Most of that, though, was to serve oil and gas loads. They say less than 1% came from marijuana grow houses. Canadian Valley Electric added approximately 25,000. Officials say due to high growth, Canadian Valley is conducting engineering studies to ensure they have adequate capacity to serve new loads. In addition to the electrical grids, Woodward says land prices are skyrocketing, and runoff from farms is now affecting some water sources.
Their runoff is going into creeks, and we have found dead animals that drank some of the runoff, so that tells you how contaminated that water is that's coming out of these grow houses.
Woodward says most owners and workers at illegal farms are tied to criminal organizations in Mexico, with drug trafficking organizations tied to China.
Nobody spoke real good English.
They're propping people up, what we call ghost owners. They find some local person to put their name on a piece of paper that says, I'm the owner of this farm, so they can meet Oklahoma's 2-year residency requirement.
The raid on this forbidden farm is just one of many, and now the OBN says they're building up their task force in hopes to take down even more. Once it's fully up and running, a 30-member task force will be based in the central, western, and eastern part of the state, with attorneys and criminal analysts working cases every day. But that task force is months in the making.
Are you worried it's just exploding to a point that, I mean, what could it look like in a year from now?
Well, I mean, we hit enough of these, eventually we're going to really send a message, especially when you start seizing the land, start freezing bank accounts from New York to Boston to California. It's going to start waking them up. They're going to realize that they made a big mistake coming to Oklahoma, thinking they could operate their criminal empire here.
With a new task force, there's hope that Bastine and other ranchers alike will be able to watch the sunset again without the silhouette of greenhouses on the horizon.
We reached out to the governor's office, who was unable to comment about illegal farms popping up across the state. Erica Stanish, Fox 25 News.